Welcome back to our channel, Grateful and Growing. I'm Tamuriel.
And I'm Dione.
And today we're going to be just talking about the year in review for 2025. We've had a lot of things happen in 2025, some good, some bad. But we're here to tell the story and to look forward to what's happening in 2026.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
So when we started in January, we started the January off strong. I started because in November 2024, I got back on TikTok. I wasn't really on a TikTok person up until then. I would check it every now and then. But after the election in 2024, I just decided, you know what? It's time for us to show up more on TikTok. And so I really went headstrong into content creation, but I didn't start until January 2025. So I got into the TikTok shop. I became an LTK creator. I became a UGC creator and an Amazon influencer. And I just went headstrong into all of social media this year.
And I was still applying for jobs.
Well, and she has a job because now we are working together.
Yes.
Because I don't know what I'd do without her. She's my back end support, helping me, pulling stuff together. When she hears me talk stuff that I don't even think that's relevant, she's like, you said this is great.
That's when you got your first official brand deal.
Yes, I got my first official brand deal back in January. Very, of course, especially just starting off, that was great. And the year just kept getting better and better.
And that's when you got your body piercings too. So I think the confidence, the more she got out there, the more she was on camera, she was just like, let me grow up a little bit more.
Got this one pierced first when I was in Texas. But that wasn't last year. That was 2024.
Oh, okay.
And then I got the septum done in 25 before I turned 52. Got me a new little earpiece wrap around.
Look here. To see that.
In March, I had my surgery. That's when I had my hysterectomy. Wasn't planning on having any kids anyway. So,
anymore.
It was.
But like, what brought that on? What were the symptoms that made you have to go through that?
Because I was it's very painful. My monthlies were very painful, and then I was having a lot of just stomach pain. Like they were taking all these different tests about like why I was cramping. It was almost like my bowels were contracting against each other in my back. And so then they found out that I had fibroids. So I had fibroids, and fibroids was causing the pain. I healed well, had no complications, and everything was good.
And I actually had to have a hysterectomy at 33, the age of 33, because of fibroids. And they were growing out of control.
Well, I didn't realize how predominant fibroids are in the Black community.
Right. I read something that said that fibroids, part of the reason for fibroids are the result of trauma.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We've definitely been through some trauma.
Right. They did a study and they went back and in talking with Black women about their fibroids and about their trauma, they've made a correlation between the two. So,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Then in April, we went to our last pop-up for Afro Gems.
Yes.
At the Natural Living Fair.
And Afro Gems, if you haven't seen all of our videos, that is our business where we sell crystals and gems, and we are kind of transitioning that to more of self-care. We still sell them. We just will not have as large of a variety of them once we get through what we have. But crystals are also about self-care. So we are trying to transition it into self-care. Because so many people need self-care and they're not taking care of themselves because they're still taking care of everybody else. And that message needs to be portrayed that you come first.
Right. And if you are looking for crystals, and because we do still have inventory, please feel free to drop us a message on YouTube or TikTok, wherever you find us. Just send us a DM and we will get in touch and try to take care of you. So another thing that we did in April was we started looking for an investment property. That is something that's been on both of our vision boards.
Yes.
For a while. And so we took the plunge and started looking for our long-term passive income. And we looked at several different properties in different areas. Initially, we thought that we were going to have to sacrifice a lot in order to move, have the investment property, mainly space, because we were coming from a 1,200 square foot apartment.
Right.
1,200 square foot apartment, and most of the investment properties that we were looking at, duplexes, they were older homes, and
although they were about 1,500 square feet, but that 1,500 square feet was split in half.
right.
So you're looking at about 750 square feet per
From-
side.
From 1,200.
Yeah.
And we was just like, oh.
Like, we got to get rid of this. Where we going to put this,
Right.
this, what we going to do? And because we looked at so many, and some of them were really nice, but it
Right.
just did not
fit our
have
lives.
the space. Like, I was like, I
Or
don't know.
closet space or cabinet space in the kitchen. It was always lacking something. At the time, I guess, I think we were like, oh no, are we going to find something? But
Right.
really looking back on it, it just dropped in our lap.
Yeah.
You know? Another thing that happened in May was T upgraded once again.
I mean, I'm over here doing all the things.
She's doing the things, baby. She went and got her eyebrows microbladed.
Yes, because I don't have brows. They don't grow. And so I was drawing my brows in every single day. I was like, this is getting old. So my kids came through.
Right. I was about to say, they blessed you with something.
Yeah, they blessed me, and they was like, go get your brows done. Okay, let me get on the calendar. Which then led us right into our wedding.
May 5th
is when we got hitched.
We got hitched. And it was so beautiful.
Yes.
Like it was spiritual. It was intimate. It was just so special. Even now, looking back on the pictures, I was like, we did that.
We did that. we did that.
Yeah.
And you want to know how to get married for less than $2,000?
She can tell you.
I can tell you. It was very intimate. It wasn't really big. And so, because we was like, this isn't about everybody else. This is about us. Our commitment to each other. We invited a couple of close friends, but it was decorated very nice, and we had the time of our life.
Yeah, we did.
Moments to remember.
Then 13 days later, we had a house fire.
Yes.
That was a big pivot. That was a big pivot and change. It was traumatic. It was a grease fire, and it put us out of our apartment for over 30 days. So over a month, we were displaced, moving from hotel to hotel with our pets, Rip and Brownie. And Babe was a trooper. Like, she's still doing her day job.
Yeah.
She was still in the hotel doing TikToks, doing lives.
All the things.
She's doing all the things and handling, just handling everything. Insurance, back and forth with them. And by that time, I think we had identified a property because we were.
Yes.
During that month, the end of May into June, we were actually closing on the investment property where we are now.
Yeah. In June, we started closing. May is when we found it and was like, we want that place.
Right.
Because once we walked in and we started seeing how much space it was after all of the other properties we had seen, we was like, I think this is it.
Yeah.
And then while they were showing us, this man walks up outside, was like, is this house for sale? I need this for my grandson. Well, he was just walking up off the street. They was like, you got to call and get an appointment.
Yeah.
I was like, is he trying to get this house?
He was trying to get in the back door.
He was.
I was like, no.
Is he trying to get this house? If this house belongs to us, this house, but get away.
Get away.
I rebuke you. Don't take us. No. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not even worried, because if it's meant for us, it's going to happen.
Right.
And if it don't come through, then that means it's something else, because we wasn't worried about credit. Everything was perfect with that. So the only thing would have been them overbidding us, or, you know, kind of going back and forth with that. But everything worked out. That leads us into June, and then they gave us a closing date. So at the time, we were still displaced. The lease wasn't over until August. So if we left, even though we've been in the house for, we've been displaced, they wouldn't let us out of the lease because we did all of this stuff, and it was like you had to tell us within 14 days. Well, in 14 days, we thought we would have been back in the house because y'all told us it wasn't that bad.
Right. They said it wasn't that bad, but it took them a whole month and a half
to get it fixed.
And when we moved back in, it still wasn't fixed.
Nope.
They still hadn't replaced the cabinets. They still hadn't cleaned out all the soot and everything. But yeah, that was a whole ordeal in dealing with Cumberland Ridge apartments.
Okay. Yeah, don't go there.
And during that time, I was burnt up.
So. Yes, when we were having to travel back and forth to Vanderbilt in Nashville, which is about 45 minutes away once a week, trying to get her hand to heal.
But look at that, though.
Yes. They thought she was going to have surgery, but she did not have to have surgery. Nope. Healed herself.
Yep. That's what the ancestors said. That's what it did. So
we closed on the property in June, and even though our apartment, we wasn't released until August, but we start moving in July. We was like, I'm gonna leave the lights on for as long as I need to over there, but it's time to shift out of this place. The energy was no longer good there. Because, you know, when people are in and out of your house, if you know about energy, then you understand what I'm talking about. When I went back into the house, I told her before we even moved back in, I said, it feels different.
Yeah.
Wherever we end up, all I know is this is not our home anymore.
We're not coming back here.
Yeah. And so we got out of there as quick as possible, moved in, and have been very happy.
Yes.
And we got plans for this too, but that'll be in another video.
In September, my sister called and told me that my mom was going to be honored at their Mother's Day at their church. And she asked me if I would help write the biography. And the first lady of the church was, waiting on the biography for my mom. And so I didn't really think much about it. I sat down on the phone on Messenger with my niece and my sister. And we just kind of, blasted through her history a little bit and wrote the biography and sent it on. And she told me, then she started to elaborate more about what this Women's Day was about and about Queens. And they were going to honor my mom for being an entrepreneur for 17 years. And just something in my heart felt like you got to be there. You really, really need to be there for this. And so we made a way. Made it happen for me to be able to go to that Women's Day celebration, and it was phenomenal. It really was. I love seeing my mom up on that stage with her crown. They gave her a crown and a big, huge basket of purple flowers for royalty. I think there were about 5 people who were honored. It was just really nice, and to have all my family there together to watch her, because at some point my nieces were supposed to go to Atlanta for a baby shower. And I remember just kind of praying within myself that they would stay, for whatever reason, that they would stay and be able to be there for my mom. And lo and behold, we manifested that thing. As soon as they told me that the baby had came early and the girl was in the hospital and the baby had came early, so they weren't going for the baby shower, I was like, oh, I hope everything's okay. Because I had, put that out in the atmosphere. But everything's fine. Baby's fine. And my nieces were able to be there for my mom. And it was a great time. It really was. It was really special. And then after the ceremony, of course, we all went out to dinner. And my mom was really surprised that I showed up because she didn't know. First of all, she didn't know she was being honored at church.
Right.
And she didn't know that I was coming, because she always was asking me, when you coming home? When you coming home? And so when I walked in the door, she turned around. I think she thought that I was my older sister. And when she turned around, she was just like, so surprised. And I was like, hey, I'm here, but I'm the worst liar, y'all. She said, what are you doing here? I had nothing prepared. I was like, I don't know. Like, what? I quickly tried to change the subject. But obviously, after her seeing the program at church and seeing her picture in it, she knew then, Oh, okay. That's
It's
why
like,
you're here.
and then in October, I had my first experience with the TikTok event. I was invited out to California to go to a yearly TikTok event for creators. There was over 10,000 creators, over 300 brands, and it was a 2-day event. It was an amazing experience. I went down the day before, of course, and stayed 2 days and then left the day after. So I was gone like 4 days. But I came back with so much stuff. I was telling
my
her,
gosh.
I was like, I don't know that I'm going to be able to fit all this stuff in my suitcase. And I took a empty suitcase.
Yeah, we tried to prepare.
Yeah, I totally tried to prepare. I took an empty suitcase and I bought even a little carry bag to put the stuff in. The carry bag wasn't big enough. The extra suitcase, everything fit, but it was going to be overweight because I'm packing it. And I told her I spent an hour and a half the night before repacking my suitcase. And I was like, I'm going to be charged. This is, I already know this is too heavy. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how did this happen? Because I brought a suitcase. And then finally, when I got to the airport, they was like, yep, you're 9 pounds over. That's going to be $100. $100. I'm thinking maybe
the devil is a lie.
Okay, I'm thinking maybe 50. I was ready to spend at least 50. Not 100.
Not 100, yeah.
She was like, just see if you can move some stuff around. When she first said that, I was like, oh my God. I have moved stuff around for an hour and a half last night. I don't know nothing else that can move. But I'm going to say my intuition, the spirit guides, all of them came together to help me craft a plan right there in the middle of the floor. I scoot that suitcase over and I start pulling stuff out. Well, I had got some games and those games was really heavy. But because of that extra satchel that I had carried, I was able to pull all of the games out, put them in the satchel. Of course, the satchel I was going to be my carry-on purse onto the plane. And so it was just filled with games. And then once I took those games out and then moved some stuff around, got it down to 48 pounds. Now I was sweating. Because I was like, this is stressful. This right here is stressful. Yeah. But to save $100, you do what you got to do. That was a really good experience. So if you're ever invited to a TikTok event, go. It's really good. I came back with so much stuff. And it was valuable, very valuable information. Because let me tell you, in October, I have been doing lives since I started doing lives in April. I went to an agency. They taught me how to do lives, and I still was okay. I was selling some, about 2 or 3 items per live, which is not zero. It was better than I was doing in my videos. But then I thought every month it was getting a little better. But for some reason in October, I wasn't hitting on anything. Like nothing was happening. I had gone live for 13 days in a row and had made 0 sales. This was before I went to the conference. And I was just like, I don't know what else to do. I don't want to give up on this particular product, but because it had sold for me in the past. But then I was like, I got to shift because this is not working. I can't keep getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and make 0 sales. And that's the only other time that I had available because I still have a full-time job. And then I was like, well, I went to the conference. I don't know what happened, but they tell you that whenever you're trying to elevate, you need to put yourself in a room of people that have already gone to the places that you're going to. And I'm telling you, the energy that I got back from that, I came back with it. And every day from the time I got back from the TikTok conference, every single day after that, I have not had 1 0-day sale. Yeah. Even though I only made sales for the last 2 weeks of the month, my end of month GMV was higher in October than all the other months put together. And I was like, wow, okay, it got to keep going up. So I just kept hustling and it kept going up.
When did you switch products?
I did not switch products. I stayed with Medicube and I still use Medicube.
We love some Medicube.
Really has done a major thing for my skin. I love them. But sometimes you have to shift. So at the end of November, it started going back down again. And just something in my spirit said, it's time to shift products. I shifted and I started promoting Baskin Lather.
We love some Baskin Lather.
We love Baskin Lather.
I think that makes a difference too. If you
really like the product.
Right.
But we had started using Baskin Leather products in November, and I was loving what I was, seeing from using those products. So when I had decided to shift, that was one of the reasons why I chose them. And it was a great shift. Because when I say my income tripled in
Yeah.
1 month, in 1 month, just by taking a shot and changing products.
So also in November, I was inspired and was able to create a coloring book series for Black children.
Yes. And not just one.
Not just one.
How many?
We've got 5 so far.
5. She is a certified author. Yes.
And these are on Amazon. The first one is My Glow is Golden, Caring for Me from Head to Toe. And this is a self-care and hygiene book for awesome Black kids. And you can see through there. And this is My Voice, My Power, Coloring the Right Path. And this is talks about making good decisions. Our kids making good decisions when they find themselves in certain situations. My Dreams Are Limitless, a coloring book of Black brilliance and possibility. And this one goes through all kinds of careers and jobs and talking about entrepreneurship and getting kids to really think about what their future could look like or what they want their future to look like at a very early age. This one is Crowned in Confidence, inspired by the WNBA. And this coloring book was inspired by my great nieces who both play basketball. I'm a big fan of the WNBA. And so this is all about female athletes. I got a great nephew who plays football. And so this one is Grind Like a Giant, Lead Like a Legend. And it is based on the NFL. And as you can see, it's got football pictures of different aspects of football. And each and every book, has affirmations for the children. And each and every book has instructions for parents and teachers on how they can sit down with their kids, ask open-ended questions, and get them talking, get their brains working, and get their critical thinking skills developed. So,
And this is awesome. She did a really good job to push all of these out in 1 month. She did all of this in 1 month. Okay, that's how much brilliance is on the inside. We need
Yes.
representation. So if you have children, you know of children's schools, you want to get connected and get some, those links will be added below. So just make sure you're checking that out because these can be purchased on Amazon. Then we go into the month of December, and even when we look back at all of these things, we had some good things happen. We've had some bad. The fire was bad. But the whole year hasn't been bad. We were misplaced and
but we got stronger.
We did. We got
closer and stronger, and in going through challenges, we get to understand each other more.
Yeah.
See each other in different spaces, so we know how to maneuver.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
We learned some things.
Definitely. We learned some things.
Yep.
And then, unfortunately, in December, we had another tragedy, and my wife lost her mother, which was one reason she was so glad that she was able to go in September to be with her mom. Of course, nobody knew it was coming because her mom was not sick. She did end up getting sick. It was just, it was pneumonia. Even while she was in the hospital, she was doing better. She wasn't like getting worse and worse. It
was very quick. Like within a week, she went into the hospital. Within a week, she was gone. And so still processing.
Yeah.
Because that was just the 21st of December.
Right before Christmas.
Right before Christmas. And this is January 1.
And so we haven't even had the
funeral
yet because of the holidays. It had to be pushed back some. So we go back down this weekend. The funeral is going to be on Sunday, and then the burial is going to be on Monday. So continue to keep her lifted up, us, the whole family, but definitely keep her lifted, because if you've lost or ever lost anyone in your family, you know what that feels like. And then when it's around the holiday, it just kind of dampens the spirit,
And then if it's your parent, that's a whole new ball game. Because we've all lost someone, but
yeah,
that's your mama. So,
but it's going to be okay.
yeah,
You got support around you, and grief is grief. And we can't rush people to get through grief. We don't even know sometimes how we're going to handle grief because everybody handles it differently. But you can't allow other people to push you through your grief. You can't put on faces. Sometimes we want to pretend that we're okay and put on the mask and walk away. It's okay to say, I'm not okay. And it's okay to move how you need to move and not be people pleasing because you feel like somebody needs you to do this or somebody needs you to do that. Just do what you need for you until you can do better, until you can do, or until you feel at the point where you want to do something different.
I just want to say thank you for being so supportive
Absolutely.
and being there for me. Just even your energy feels supportive. And when I was in Knoxville, because I did travel to Knoxville when my mom passed away, when we first found out she had passed or transitioned. And so I was in Knoxville with my whole family. And being an empath, you absorb a lot of energy from other people. And so I was full and I was like itching to get back home, especially knowing that the funeral wasn't going to be for 2 weeks. And then I looked up and my baby done showed up in Knoxville. She came to get me. And before she said she was coming, and I was just so excited to see her. And I really appreciate that because I needed to get out of Dodge.
That is our year in review. We do appreciate all of you that have subscribed and you continue to watch our channel. If you want to know anything particular about our life or anything else you would like us to talk about, just make sure you put it in the comments. Our email is attached as well. But put that in the comments. We'll be more than happy to bring it to you. So until then, just remember,
the destination is the journey.